Juventus Matchday, Champions League Matchday. The trophy's in the house. Cliff's in the house. Omar's in the house. Oh boy, big matchup. Juventus versus Chelsea. How's everybody feeling today? Alex P right out of the gate. Ciao, duty. Omar, Cliff, how you guys feeling?
I'm ecstatic. Ecstatic.
Doing
Champions
well.
League night are always special.
Very nice. They are always special. And we got a lot of good stuff for this one. So we got some great research done by Omar. We're going to talk about the history of this fixture. Of course, we're going to have some fun talk trivia. And we're going to get to our predictions, which are always fun at the end. And by the way, 2 weeks in a row, reigning champ. Come on. Come on. Somebody's got to take the title. Somebody's got
I'll
to take the title.
I'll dethrone you. I'll dethrone you
There we
today.
go. There we go. So before we get to all the good stuff, we just like to cover the news in the build up here and whatnot, and some interesting stuff. As we all believed Rabiot would not be a part of this match in the build up, saying that he took a knock and was not going to be available, but that has changed. He is available. Allegri continues to push this guy as well. Obviously, in the comments building up to it, Allegri saying Rabiot should essentially be upset. Literally saying Rabiot needs to be upset with his physicality and his attributes and stuff. He should be scoring much more. So he continues to call Rabiot out and just like push this guy. It's interesting to me, and I honestly I don't see this offensive prowess that he's really pressing. How do you guys feel about this whole Allegri Rabiot thing that's going on here?
Um,
I know how Cliff feels.
then you know what? I'll take the reins. Then I'm surprised Rabiot's mother hasn't to Allegri yet. So because she loves to defend her little boy. Um, but Rabiot, I like that Allegri's pushing him. It's definitely
Yeah.
a good thing because sometimes players like him they need a push. And maybe he'll show a better side of himself in the next few matches. Um, but Rabiot is Rabiot. Whenever he's playing, he's a defensive liability. We know that. He's decent at passing. He's decent at holding up possession a little bit, but he's nothing special. He'll go up the pitch and try to make a run forward, but we know what he is. He's at his best. He's a decent center mid who goes forward and gets into the box and makes stuff happen. Sometimes he's awful defensively. We've seen him get some boneheaded yellows, boneheaded cards. So um, we can only hope he continues to progress a little bit, but it just seems like he's dead weight at this point. But Allegri's pushing to get the best out of him, which I can always appreciate.
Yeah. Omar, your thoughts on this constant push from Allegri on Rabiot?
Well, I'm pretty sure Allegri is sugarcoating what he said, what he actually said to Rabiot face to face. So that's the way you get away with saying this stuff, in press conferences. So I don't think it's a surprise. I think he hears it every day in training, what he has to do, what he needs to be, what he needs to do. And he's a weird player, like because he is good when he plays. You can see a talent. You can see he has good dribbling. You can see he looks forward, but he has some shortcomings. I haven't given up on him yet. I don't mind if he'll leave because he's on a big salary that he doesn't justify at all. But some players are late bloomers. Xavi from Barcelona almost moved away when he was 24, and look how that turned out. He blossomed at 30. So this type of stuff happen. Not all players thrive at the age of 20. So if he's here with us, then he's a Juve player. Then I want him to do good, and shitting on him won't help that happen. I'm sure Allegri does enough of it. So if he's playing, then I need him to be good. So I'll cheer for him no matter
Yeah.
what.
Of course, you got to support no matter what. But I can't help but feel like Alex does here in Max, looking for something that just simply doesn't exist in Rabiot. Kind of get that feeling. Luca joining in saying today should be Berna over Rabiot, and we will We'll get to that. That is definitely going to be talked about as we get to probable lineups and whatnot a little bit later on. As we just want to tackle a bit more of the news. Arthur has resumed training. Big key for Juve, hopefully, because that can hopefully free up Locatelli to move and further advance himself up the pitch. But of course, still far too early to see him on the pitch. He's still got a ways to go. Allegri addressing that as well. So we started off after in our post-match pod of Sampdoria talking about the feelings for Juventini leading up to this one, and it changed quite dramatically yesterday as obviously Chelsea will be missing some key guys as well. You know, with they're talking about Pulisic potentially not being available. Conte will not be available. Mount and James as well. So it's very interesting. And we got to remember, we love to pocket their 9. We love pocketing that number 9. So I think he's got one PK against us. So it got a whole lot more interesting after the news broke out yesterday. I was still sitting somewhere around 40%. I'm been pretty optimistic. It's always 50%. We know we had no Dybala Morata, which is big, but with their absentees, this is really going to turn into a chess match between Tuchel and Allegri. And it's really become very interesting. We know probably what we're going to end up is with that 4-4-2. Would you guys expect something different out of Max? Max said yesterday, no 3-man defense, but do you expect potentially a 4-3-3? Do you think Max will switch it up or play it safe? Omar.
Yeah, I think he'll play it safe. The formation changes every game from attack to defense, and it's easier with players like Quadrado. I I would have liked to see Berna, like Lucas said. I also said that in the previous spot that he'll be in my starting 11. But Quadrado or Chiesa King is interesting. It's interesting. I would like to see how that works out, but I'm pretty sure we'll mostly defend and build on counter attacks, so the defensive formation will be a bit more important than the attacking formation.
Yeah. Yeah, Anthony coming in here with 100% win today. The funny thing about Anthony and saying this is he was the same before we heard about the Chelsea injuries or anything like
Yeah,
that. And
no, he's sticking
I
to his
love it.
guns.
I love it. I love it. I want to talk about one thing that is surrounding this one that I still continue to say it's my one knock on Agnelli, and he needs to address and sort out. And that's the fact that we're not even at full capacity of stadiums, and Juve is doing drives to sell tickets for these matches. That is symbolic of some major issues. This place has been nothing but a fortress. Okay, since its opening. We're celebrating 10 years at home today. And for me, the atmosphere and whatnot, why are we shutting down one of our own advantages? And Yeli needs to sort this out. There's no way we should be, the day before Champions League matchup versus Chelsea, and we can't fill a capacity of 50% in our stadium. That needs some work, big time. Your guys' thoughts on that, Cliff? How do you feel about that when you see things like that and they can't sell 50%?
Well, so for me, I'm not trying to flex, but I was a marketing major in college. So for me, from that standpoint, that shows that that's on the marketing team that they can't sell 50% capacity in a stadium. They need to be doing a better job marketing this match. This is a matchup of two, European giants, Chelsea, Juventus. This should be easily 50%. You should be struggling to like, excuse me, you should be struggling to like not have seats. Like there should be everything should be filled to capacity and then some. Like if you had a full capacity, no doubt in a non-pandemic situation, this whole stadium would be filled to the brink. So from a marketing standpoint, they're not doing their job if the hype for this match isn't out there and people aren't wanting to come to see this game at least in a 50% capacity. At least Juventus fans should be filling the stadium easily to 50% because
Mm-hmm.
social media, and I pay attention to social media pretty heavily. Um, it's been a little bit light in terms of the build up to this match. Like I haven't been seeing a lot in terms of social media noise for this build up. Like I was thinking there'd be a lot more. This is a match that everybody should be hyped about. So from that marketing perspective, that's always how I'm thinking. It seems a little bit like the Juventus team, even compared to the other Serie A teams, I feel like they've been lacking in terms of their social media presence lately.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things to factor in too. And number one, there was an increase when Ronaldo joined. And, naturally, obviously, you would see that and whatnot. But again, that was a draw that helped. Pandemic hits. So you've got a couple other elements too, like people that are just naturally suffering from the pandemic and trying to recoup or whatnot, maybe not affording to be able to go or whatnot. But again, you have to make adjustments. You have to try and maximize that revenue while you can get it. Because last year it was, closed stadiums or whatnot. So you're getting none of that. You want to maximize that. So again, Agnelli's got to sort that out, whether it be making some price cuts or whatnot. But the spirit in that stadium needs to be there, no matter if it's 50%, 25%, whatever. And that whole battle, like Agnelli, that's been so stubborn in that loss of the Ultras, which is basically the beating heart of Allianz. He's got to get that going. Omar, your thoughts, quick, before we move into the history of this fixture.
Okay, so first of all, soon they'll open the stadiums for 75% capacity. And if we can't fill 50%, then we're in for losses, and Agnelli needs to pick it up because it's not some toy he got that he can play with. It's the legacy of his family, and he needs to sort that out. And the last time I remember the fans and the crew were rallying up for Juve was the second leg against Atletico, and they said, okay, we'll be there for the team, we'll leave all the problems aside for one game. And we won. They were obviously the 12th man on the pitch, and without the crowd, I'm not sure we're going through on that specific game. So here's an example of how important a crowd can be for one game. We gave them like the best Ronaldo performance for Juve, that everything was how it's supposed to be. So don't need to look very much further to see how important the crowd is and a full stadium can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's just something a lot of us have wanted to return to for quite some time. It's great seeing fans in there again, but again, it's not the same if the atmosphere is just dead, right? So, Clifford, you want to touch on something before we get to the history?
So yeah, real quick. I mean, like we're saying about prices and stuff. Like, what's 10% ticket price? I know it seems like a loss now for Agnelli, but for the amount that Juventus has made, like in the last like decade, like what's a 10% ticket price cut in a post-pandemic world right now? Even though it's still technically a pandemic going on, um, like they need to find any way to make sure they get fans in the stadium. And I do want to note, Luca made a little comment talking about my stock shirt. I think it looks pretty fresh. The Merlot color.
Is that
Uh,
Merlot?
I would say it's a Merlot, a wine, a vino color.
Comes through black.
Oh,
That's
does
okay.
it? Ah, damn. That's too
No,
bad.
it's all good. It's all good. Okay. So, yeah, we touched on some of the news surrounding there. Guys, great thoughts on the whole atmosphere and whatnot. But let's get to the history here. And I'm going to actually turn it over to Omar here to talk about Chelsea and this club's connection with Serie A, Italia, and a nice Juve connection as well. Go ahead, my man.
Okay, so I've noticed that a long time ago, and I think it's interesting. We know how many talents grow in Italy, both Italian and from abroad, that just come over and make their name out. If you go, Alexis Sanchez and such players that became champions for their countries and their clubs, and they all started from Serie A. Now, Chelsea has a really rich history of buying players or selling to and loaning to Italy. And they are the only Premier League team I can think of that have this many Italians. Like Liverpool had some, okay, United had some, but not even close to what Chelsea has done. And I'm just gonna run you through some of the names that have played for Chelsea and in Italy, and some of them, a lot of them even play today. So like Lukaku, Jorginho, Marcos Alonso, Kovacic, Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Cuadrado, Bakayoko, Salah, Zappacosta, Emerson, Higuain, Morata, Sarri, Ancelotti, Conte, Desai, Zola, Viali, Tammy Abrams, Tomori, Kaziragi, Panucci, Di Matteo, Shevchenko, Wea, Crespo, Muto, Quaresma, Torres, and the list goes on and on and on. I quit halfway through my research because you you get the point.
Yeah.
Now, we also had a lot of Italian managers managing Chelsea, and even one that did both at the same time, was both player and manager. And that man is our own Gianluca Vialli, the last one to lift our Champions League trophy. And for you younger fans who know him as a Juve legend and have no idea what he did after he left Juve, then here's some insight and a Juve connection. So Vialli basically became a symbol for two clubs in his career, and I can't think of a lot of players that did that. Some come to mind, maybe Ronaldo and Pirlo, and but the list is not a long one. Now he moved from Juve to Chelsea on a Bosman transfer in 1996, and he played there for 3 seasons. He didn't have a good relationship with Ruud Gullit, another Serie A player who became manager for Chelsea. But even though he won the FA Cup in his first season, now bear in mind Chelsea before Mourinho came haven't won the PFL for 50 years. So winning cups was all they had, and here's some of them belong to Vialli. So in his first season, even though he didn't have a good time with Gullit, he won the FA Cup. Ruud Gullit was sacked in 1998, and Vialli immediately took over as player manager, and he led Chelsea to the Cup Winners' Cup and League Cup double at the end of that season. And he also won the European Super Cup in August, beating Real Madrid, who beat Juve to make it all the way there. And both teams have never won that cup before, so it was the first time for Chelsea. Vialli hung up his boots after the 99-2000 season, but stayed on as manager, and he led Chelsea to another FA Cup in 2000. And after that, he retired, but he wasn't only a Juve legend, he was also a Chelsea legend. And I don't know how many player managers were there throughout history, but not much, and Vialli is the name that sticks out above all. And that's my 2 cents and connection of Juve and Chelsea.
Yeah, that's an amazing connection.
Man, putting in some work with the studying. I love it.
Amazing, amazing. But Viali, it's wild for those that yeah, I didn't realize like player manager, unbelievable. Winning those trophies, it's incredible. Viali was an absolute beast to watch too. So if anybody you know isn't familiar or whatnot, there's YouTube videos out there, and you watch some of the goals this guy would finish. It was incredible, and just a physical monster. The size Bialy was in, obviously. Now he's been going through a lot personally and whatnot, battling cancer and whatnot. But the guy was absolutely phenomenal and absolutely brilliant work, Omar. Everybody loving it and appreciating all the information and the ties with Chelsea. And I don't think there's another team maybe with ties like that outside of Serie A, like Chelsea. Hey,
Yeah, they really have figured out that there's a lot of good talent in Italy, and they're taking advantage of it. And it's actually very weird to me that no other club has noticed it as much as Chelsea did. And it's
yeah,
not only the Abramovich era; it's even before.
yeah. So yeah, a lot of good stuff in there, and the names are absolutely wild. I think we even left out like Wea, Crespo, and even Torres for that matter. But yeah, it's awesome, awesome stuff.
Thiago Thiago
Now,
Mendes, if you want some horrible memories surfacing back.
yeah, now we get into the trivia. So it's a little trivia time. So and there are some fun stuff here. We can maybe kick it off with some easy ones. We're both clubs all-time leading Champions League goal scorers. Omar's obviously going to know these bang on. Let's try and give Cliff a shot here. Maybe the live audience can help you out.
All-time goal scorers for Juve and Chelsea in Champions League. I would assume Juve, it's Del Piero.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Chelsea, I'm thinking either Drogba or Torres.
Very nice, man. Very nice.
Is it Drogba? Okay.
Drogba. Very nice. Now, the last meeting between these clubs would have been November 20th, 2012. What was the final score line?
It was Juve 3, Chelsea 1.
It's 3-0. Very
3-0.
nice. Very nice.
Because I remember that match. I remember that.
It was
Who scored?
Yeah, I got the kid on from that match, whatnot.
Yeah.
Who are the goal scorers?
I want to say Tevez. Was he on the team at the time?
He did not score, no.
It's not. Okay.
He wasn't in the team.
He wasn't there
It was
yet.
13, 14 he joined, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go Quagliarella.
Yeah?
Okay. Did Pirlo score?
No.
No. Pogba?
No. It was 3-0.
It's 3-0.
3-0. No Pogba.
Quagliarella
scored.
Or one.
You got two more guys to name.
Shoot. My 2012
Alex
memories
P's
are
trying to help out here.
Vidal,
Vidal got one.
obviously.
Who's that
And then
third?
the third, was it a header from Bonucci or Chiellini?
No. Oh, look at Anthony getting a show. Oh, trivia isn't so easy.
Oh, yeah, Anthony, this guy. He loves me. Anthony really loves me behind the scenes. The last one, I'm going to go with, was it
Formica Atomica.
what do we got? Oh, Sebastian Giovinco?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There you
Okay.
go.
Yes.
One
By
of
the
my favorite
way, both Vidal and Quagliarella scored in the first leg of that
Yeah,
match.
they scored in the first one too as well. Vidal and Quagliarella in the 2-2
Dude,
one in
that feels
2012.
like so long ago. That's almost been a decade since that.
Yeah. We haven't played Chelsea that match anyway throughout history.
Yeah. Those are good
So-
times.
Let's get a couple little more ones. What's the goal settings sitting at for the history of this fixture?
The goal settings?
Yeah, who leads the goals? What's the goal scoring between the two teams?
Gosh. I know Omar's going to know this. So.
Oh yeah, and Omar can
Yeah,
even
yeah.
help out if he feels like he wants to help you, Cliff, or if he wants to watch you sweat a bit.
Okay, over under 50 for both teams.
No, I try to think of a better clue. Okay, the teams haven't met that much. They
They've
had
met.
2 meetings. Okay, they had 4, but in 2 different seasons. They met twice,
Yeah, so
home and away.
it's 4 matches that you're
4
trying
matches.
to figure out how
4
many
matches.
goals
Okay.
total
Yeah.
for each club and who leads in goals.
So I'm going to go Juve with, so there's 4 matches. I'm going to go Juve with 8,
Very close, man.
9,
7.
7. Okay. And then Chelsea with 4.
5. Very close.
Yeah,
I'm a good guesser. What can I say?
Very good. How many Champions Leagues does Chelsea have?
Ooh, that's a really good question because this is going to be a pure guess. I'm going to guess 4.
No.
Is it more?
No.
Oh, is it 2?
Yeah. They just tied Juventus last season, obviously, and that is a frustrating one for Juventini because we need to have
Yeah.
far more. But we're not going to get
You
into
should have
that
at least
today.
4 or 5.
Listen, that was good stuff.
yeah. I want to add some bit of trivia. The
Do it.
last time both clubs met, Chelsea were also the reigning European champions, And Juve, the first game was 2-2, the second was 3-0 for Juve. And Chelsea got relegated to Europa League, which they won, and they were the first ever team to win the trophy and then move to Europa League the next season.
There you
Wow.
go.
The
Wow.
stats from Omar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big stuff. Chelsea unbeaten in 6 away games, but have a horrible record in Italy. So hopefully we can capitalize on that. We
Oh,
talked about
with another
absenteeism.
Italian, by the way, with another Italian. Di Matteo was at the helm at the time.
Di Matteo. Absentees for Chelsea: Mount, James, Kante, Pulisic. Juve absentees: Arthur, Kyle Jorge, Dybala, Morata, and Ramsey. I don't have any words for how Ramsey could possibly be injured, literally doing nothing.
Dude was probably walking down the stairs and like broke his leg.
They should
Regardless,
they should inform us when he's healthy. It's like
Yeah.
save yourself the tweets of when he's injured.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just say this week Ramsey's actually not injured. Awesome.
Probable
Yeah.
Juve lineup: 4-4-2, Chesney, Danilo, Bonucci, Chiellini, Sandro, Quadrado, Bentancur, Locatelli, Rabiot, Chiesa, Keane. All right, here we have it. Probable lineup right there: 4-4-2, Rabiot on as that outside left, while Quadrado takes over the outside right. Danilo at right back, Chiesa and Keane up top. Let's go with your thoughts on this.
I really think it's a 4-3-3. I think Chiesa will play more to the left than Dybala did. Quadrado is obviously a right winger, and he might switch up with Keane on the left side. But it's like four defenders, three midfielders, three attackers. It will be a 4-3-3 even when we defend. The way I see it.
Cliff, your thoughts?
So the way this is lining up, I like it because you're setting up a good defensive back line. You said it was Sandro, Chiellini, Bonucci, and Danilo, which I like because Danilo is good with the ball at his feet. And then Chiellini and Bonucci, I think this match calls for experienced center backs. You know, Chiellini has a good track record of pocketing Lukaku, so that's really good to note there. And then in terms of midfield, you said Rabiot, Locatelli. Did you say McKinney?
No.
I have bad hearing.
Rabiot,
I said
Locatelli, and it was Bentancur.
Betancourt, and then you have
Quadrado
Chiesa.
across the middle.
Quadrado. Okay. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like we've spoke about this before, we don't love having Rabiot and Bentancur in the same lineup. But what I am excited about, which I've been like speaking this into existence for the last few weeks. I want to see Keane and Chiesa up top just to see how they do, and I think this would be a good match to test how they play that two up top. And Omar could be very well be right. They might switch up the formation. It could end up being a 4-3-3. In terms of when you have Rabiot, Bentancur, and Locatelli in there, it might transform into that because you're most likely not going to have Rabiot wide.
It
But
would make the most sense. Sorry to cut
yeah,
you off there, but it would make the most sense doing a 4-3-3, in my personal opinion.
it would. It definitely would because you play Keys and Cuadrado on both sides. You play those three midfielders, and then you have Keane as the striker up top. But I guess the way that Allegri is seeing this is he's thinking that Keane and Chiesa will play better, closer to one another, and they could play off each other better. And then Cuadrado getting into the box, putting in crosses like he does. If he sticks to a true 4-4-2, this will be an extremely intriguing match for sure.
Yeah. So Vishwaji coming in here saying Bernardeschi false nine news. I haven't seen that. And honestly, I don't think it would be a route we should go down. None this one. Probably want to see that experimented with before a Champions League night, in my personal opinion, as him as a false nine. It's a disgrace not seeing De Ligt playing against Chelsea. This is a tough one because, again, I'm happy with all three of those guys, to be honest. Chiellini and Bonucci together, that partnership is very, very strong. You can make the argument that when Bonucci is taken away from Chiellini that he suffers, and I understand that. But I don't think it's a big thing to say, De Ligt must play in this one. We know what Chiellini is going to be doing this year. it's been stated as of 3 weeks ago as well. Big matches, Chiellini's going to be in there. He's going to be reserved for big matches. Is it right or is it wrong? Should De Ligt be playing? When you have guys, three guys at that kind of level, and you can argue, I guess, individually Bonucci where he stands on there, but again, it's a tough one, and I think all three of them. De Ligt's going to get a ton of minutes. Again, Chiellini's being reserved and played like very, very like they're just rationalizing him, right? So, Omar, your thoughts on this whole De Ligt's got to play thing?
Well, I always like seeing De Ligt in the lineup, and I don't
Yeah,
like not seeing him in the lineup. He's been on a good run of form in recent games, and but it's a mentality issue. I believe Chiellini knows how to prepare himself to big games, and the rest of the team doesn't do it as well. That's the reason we're losing to all these Beneventos and Empolis, because we shouldn't act like we deserve those wins. We should act like, because for Benevento it's similar to a Champions League final playing against Juve. It's the closest they'll get, and not a lot of the players on our team they think the win is granted and they'll just get it no matter what. And Chiellini is the one who gives them a bit of an edge and gives them a bit of a different atmosphere from a big game to a small games. In my opinion, there are no small games. If it would have come with the same attitude we're coming towards Chelsea against Benevento or Empoli, then we would have won it. And that's the added value Chiellini adds that the league doesn't. Chiellini and Bonucci. Because people were shouting for Chiellini not to start the Euros because he's old. And look how that turned out. So I'm gonna trust Max here, and it worked fine against Inter when Lukaku played there. So it might work out, but time will tell. It's easy being smart in hindsight. If we win, then it's a brilliant move. If we lose, then the league should have played.
yeah, yeah. Cliff, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think I think disgrace is an extremely harsh term to use for this. Because Chiellini is one of the best defenders of all time. He is top tier. He's a warrior. He's one of the best the Juventini have ever seen, as well as the Azzurri. And when you have a pairing of him and Bonucci who have played together for such a long time with the experience they have, I said this before the season even began. People were asking me, should De Ligt or Chiellini start in that lineup with Bonucci? And I said, in the important matches like UCL, you'll see Chiellini and Bonucci. De Ligt will play basically every other game this season. He'll develop his experience. He'll gain that match to match, day in and day out preparation. He'll become a leader in and of himself in the Serie A matches. And then for the UCL matches, Chiellini and Bonucci will take the reins because they know how to handle these situations. They know how to manage these moments. They've played in some of the biggest matches in UCL history. Obviously, they've had to deal with losses in that UCL history, but I think De Ligt will get his shot next season. I think he'll be the everyday UCL starter as well. I think Chiellini will probably get phased to a bench role next season, as great as Chiellini is. But with his injury concerns, I could see why they want to play him matches here and there. Um, that being said, if we get to a semifinal or a final match and De Ligt's been playing, that's a huge if. But if we get that far into the UCL, if De Ligt's been playing very well this season, Max is going to have a very big decision on his hand. Does he play the hot hand of De Ligt if De Ligt is playing well, or does he go with the experience playing Chiellini? I think he'll lean towards the experience of Chiellini.
Yeah, and he continues on. My concern is not alone this match. I don't want to see De Ligt and bench in every important match, and I don't think that's going to be the case whatsoever. Again, you have three elites, and you rotate them. It is what it is. And we look at Malmo, our first Champions League game. De Ligt was in the lineup with Bonucci. Right now, too, we have to factor in something as well, which is you want to rotate these guys. So right now, the hardest one to rotate becomes Bonucci. And the reason it does is because if you look at something we've suffered in all these matches, it's possession. It's possession at critical times and everything like that. His play on the ball actually becomes very important until we solidify the midfield and get that smart possession and strong possession sorted out. It will help once Artur remains, and then you could possibly see Delict get a few more minutes because you could deploy center back pairing of Delict and Chiellini and feel a lot more comfortable if you're stronger in possession. So that's another element that has to kind of be factored in. The other thing is too, Chiellini thrives on physical nines like Lukaku. He absolutely thrives and eats them up. The quicker, pacier guys, the trickier, quick-footed guys, he struggles with. So you got Lukaku out there. Yeah, let Chiellini continue to do what he was doing with them in Serie A, and that's completely shut him down. Not to say Delict can't, which he can, but again, I think we're making something out of nothing when we're worrying about out of these three who's going. Um, Let Max do his thing, kind of like Omar said. Just have trust in Max. It's going to be fine. Delict completely understands the situation, and when you're dealing with guys of that caliber, sometimes sacrifices are going to have to be made, and you're not going to get all the big games. But I would not be concerned if I was Delict, and I wouldn't. I'm certainly not concerned for Juventini to worry about this particular situation. There has to be some rotation. So move on from the Delict thing. 4-3-3. I could see that, and it makes sense. There were a lot of shouts going into this one to play a 3-5-2. Then you get Chiellini, Delict, and Bonucci all out there. I don't like that. I didn't like that, and I understand the shouts that some Juventini were making about doing that and flooding Chelsea's midfield. Um, but I don't like that because if one of those guys, if something happens, our fourth up is Rugani. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're a little too skinny, in my personal opinion, to do that. And then people say, well, it's okay. So you could pull Danilo or Sandro in there. Again, if you're going to start using Sandro in a center back, now we're going to rely a lot heavier on Pellegrini. Okay. And then same thing. If all of a sudden now you're pulling Danilo in, that means Quadrado's going back to a right back scenario where I prefer Quadrado up the pitch. So 4-3-3 for me is the way to go. If we see this 4-4-2, if it plays out like 4-4-2 and Rabiot's going to be this left side, we might prefer the versatility of a Bernardeschi. Your guys' thoughts on the left? Would you go Rabiot or would you go Bernardeschi? That was mentioned earlier by Luca. Now I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, we heard some uh, murmurings about Bernardeschi at false nine. Do we need a little bit of variation? And for me, the one knock in this midfield, Bentancur and Rabiot cannot share the pitch. This is I will die on this hill. Okay, like for me, they cannot share the pitch. Your guys' thought on that aspect of it?
I would prefer Berna. I would
Yeah,
really prefer Berna over there. Like you said, I totally agree. Rabiot and Bentancur just doesn't work on a pitch. I would never play Bernardeschi as a false nine, especially not in that type of match. It's not like you've seen Bernardeschi play there and he was good against smaller teams. It's just pulling a rabbit out of the hat. The rabbit might be dead. And but I would go with Berna on the left of the midfield because then it really gives you the option of playing a 4-4-2. And with Rabiot there, it's like it's like a plaster.
yeah, yeah. So, Cliff, your thoughts on all this?
So if we're gonna run a 4-4-2, it's plain and simple for me. If you look at the player types, Bernardeschi is a faster, quicker player, and also from a technical standpoint, he has a lot more technical ability than Rabiot. He can play with both feet. He's extremely skillful. Um, for the most, like in the past, he's shown a very high IQ. Recently, he hasn't shown that IQ as much. But if you're gonna tell, like obviously, we've all bantered about Bernardeschi and stuff, but from a player standpoint, he's a skillful player. He has ability. There's no doubt about that. Um, and then even if you put him in the lineup, you have the option of like transforming that in a way. He could drop into the midfield if you need to, not defensively, but like to hold the ball and pass it around and hold possession. Rabiot, if you're going to play a pure three-man midfield, if you run a 4-3-3, I'd probably lean towards Rabiot just because of the physical size of him. He's like 6'4". He's a bigger bodied player. And he could pass and hold possession well. But if you're going to play a 4-4-2 on the wing, you can't be playing Rabiot. He just doesn't have the ability to play out wide. I think Bernardeschi's the big star.
Yeah.
I don't think you need Rabiot, like, because Chelsea doesn't have like a physical midfield. They have very technical midfield,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no like a physical guy there who fights for ball, aerial challenges and stuff. They're all very technical and play low on the ground.
And the
Yeah.
only guy is Conte, and Conte's not playing.
Yeah, Kante's up.
So this 3-5-2, the best option from Iskander, their best option to hold and control the midfield, kill them from the department. We will be control for them to gain possession. Again, you're going to have an extra D man out there. That's going to be taken away from a position that you can have somebody that can help us in the attack mode. Again, in our midfield, if we're going low, Bentancur and Rabiot sharing the pitch, you're already one kind of a more attack-minded player down. So then all of a sudden add another one. I don't see it. I can't see the 3-5-2 working. The argument you could make for it, but it would still be a 4-3-3 that you can have someone play in the hole, almost making a 4-3-1-2, would be to kind of try to isolate and rule out Jorginho, and using somebody in that role. That could be an argument made for Bernardeschi, for Kulishevsky, playing them in that manner. But then again, you're making a big decision on who you're cutting out on the right side, because that takes away, like, say, Cuadrado. Maybe you put him as right back, then all of a sudden you don't have Danilo in the lineup. So there's a lot of ways to work it. And again, it becomes a chess match between Allegri and Tuchel. But again, what we should be seeing, and everybody's starting to come out with now, is that same 4-4-2, probably taking the shape of a 4-3-3, right? So, and I'm fine with it, to be honest. But again, Rabiot and Bentancur, we talked about it earlier in the show. Allegri just really, really pushing Rabiot to get this offensive prowess out of him, saying he should be pissed off he's not scoring goals and stuff. I don't know if he needs to be pissed off, because I think Allegri's just pushing for something he's not going to get, But again, we have an over-under at the All Juve cast, and that's Rabiot on 7 goals. If Rabiot achieves 7 goals, we went with Khedira's magic number when he was playing for Juve. If Rabiot can hit 7 goals this season, I'm going to give away a jersey.
And
one more to Lewis, because he's the biggest Rabiot fan out of the All Juve cast team. No, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. If he ends up playing today, I hope for a big match, and maybe he can get one of those goals that Allegri is pressing for big time. Boys, it is time to get ready.
To have another argument for the 3-5-2 or 4-4-2.
Go ahead.
We have no subs for these formations. Okay, we have no subs. We don't have a striker on the bench. If you slot in Danilo or Sandro, then Pellegrini or, God forbid, De Sciglio has to play. And we just don't have the players for it. On the other hand, for 4-3-3, you still have Kulusevski on the bench. You still have Bernardeschi. You can shift around. You have midfielders on the bench, McKennie, and if someone gets injured, Rugani might play. And it's not the type of game to try out these things that you haven't tested against smaller teams. And so the subs are very important, because Chelsea has a lot of subs, and they will be pushing us until the last minute, and we can be taking chances with formations.
Yeah, and those are great points too. We just don't have the coverage to do certain things, right? Now, let's get to our predictions. When we did our post-match podcast from Sampdoria, the percentages of how we felt Juve were going to win, kind of pretty low, like 20%, 30%. When I'm going to ask everybody who's joined us live right now, give us your percentage that you feel Juve has in winning this match. I was pretty high up there, 40%. just coming down from 50 based on some guys we lost. Because I always, every match 50-50 realistically, but again, some losses, they bumped it down a bit. Luca's bumped up to 55% for Juve. I've gone up to, I think it's going to be, it's definitely going to be a tough match, but they're missing some key guys. It's up to 50-50. This game's for the taking. Anthony continuing with his 100%. Lewis coming in at 50%. Guys, how do you feel now, a couple days later, match day? Where's your confidence level at? What's your percentage at now as we get ready for this one?
I was at 20, so now it's gone up to 25.
25.
I'm sorry, I would be happy with a win, but being realistic, they're a better team. They know each other better. This Tuchel has been there more time than Allegri. They have some senior players. Another fun fact I threw in is Azpilicueta has made 0 mistakes leading to goals in his 9 years at Chelsea. Their players are experienced and are good. Ours are less so. So I'm still going with. I think Chelsea would win it, but I'm here to support Juve no matter what. And I would gladly be wrong here and admit it live on the pod.
There you go. Clifford, where were you at before? Where are you at now?
I was at 18.5%, just so I wasn't at the 20 that Omar had. I didn't want to be exactly in the dot. So I'm going to break it up a little bit differently. I'm going to give us a 40% chance for a draw. I'm going to give us a 35% chance for the win. And the rest of the 25% I give for a loss. So that's how I'm going to break it up. I think the most likely scenario is a 2-2 draw. I think the second most likely scenario is a 2-1 Juve win. And then I give us a 25% chance of losing like 2-1.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Predictions. We're going to start off with the first offside, what minute and what team. Anthony, write these down.
Yeah, I need to write it down. First offside. No
Which
Morata.
team,
So
which minute?
No Morata, so it makes it harder. But
I know.
Okay, I'll go with just throwing it out there. Timo Werner, if you play. No.
You're going player too. You could do player too if you want. We need team and minute.
No players. Okay, Chelsea 15th minute.
Chelsea 15th. That was mine, so I'll have to change mine. Cliff, what do you got?
I'm going to go Chelsea in the 21st minute.
And Anthony's writing these down. He's always on it. He's got Chelsea 22nd minute.
Ooh,
so first offside, I'm going Chelsea. I was going to go 15th minute. Cliff, what did you go 18th?
I went with 21st.
21st? I'm going to go 18 then. I'm going to go split you guys and take that one. So we got first offside minute. First card shown. What minute, what team?
Easy. Juventus 30th minute.
I'm going to go extremely specific. I'm going to go Bentancur 38th minute.
Bentancur 38th. Okay. I'm going to go, it'll be Juve, and I'm going to go 41st. Now, halftime scores.
1-0 Chelsea.
I'm going to go 1-1 draw at the half.
I'm going to go 1-1 as well at halftime. Full-time score.
2-2 draw.
I think it will be 2-1 Chelsea.
Wow, a lot of nil-nils at half.
No, I can't bet against Juve. I'm sorry. Final score 2-1 Juve.
Oh,
final score 2-1.
Yeah,
so
at the 20%.
On the 2-2 draw. Omar switching it up, going 2-1 Juve.
I'm predicting I'll be wrong in my 25%.
Lewis calling the 1-1 draw. Luca 1-1 draw. Fantastic 1-0 Juve. Bob going with the 1-1 draw. I'm feeling a 2-2 draw in this one.
I love it.
But
You're joining the circle. Let's go.
but I'm way too optimistic, and I love this club so much that we're gonna sneak a 3-2 dirty
You
goal.
see, it's
Dirty goal, 3-2 victory for Juve.
gonna get a scrapper and Dulit's gonna score again in the box.
Let's get some goal scores. Juve goal scores. They'll have to match your predictions. So Cliff's got to name 2 Juve goal scores. Omar's got to name 2.
I'm gonna go. Chiesa is gonna score 1, and then I'm gonna go with a little bit of a shocker. I think Cuadrado scores 1.
Wow. All right. Omar?
I'm going with Chiesa and Keane.
I was gonna
And
do
Kai
that.
Havertz. And Kai Havertz for Chelsea.
I'm gonna go. I don't care about Chelsea's goal scores. I'm not gonna name them. I'm gonna go with Chiesa, and I'm gonna go with a dirty corner type goal from King Kong.
I love it.
Oh, I wish.
And then get another.
Locatelli's gonna win it on a 40-yard shot.
Keane. Chiesa, 1 from Chiellini, and 1 from Moyes. We'll get 3. We'll get
Moyes
3. Chiellini's will be the last one, the dirtiest of them all, and that'll be the winner for
He's gonna
Juve.
get it off his butt into the goal or something.
Yeah, there you go. Total attempts for Juventus and how many on target?
11-6.
These are all tiebreaker ones to seal the victory, so be careful.
11-6.
Ooh. I'm gonna go 13-5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Man, Omar's been stale. I need to go before Omar because he's always on mine today.
Okay, I can speak last.
I'm gonna go 14, 5 on target. 14 and 5.
Basically took mine.
Is that the same?
I mean, I took 13-5, so.
Oh man. Okay, well I'll take 7
No,
on
it's
target.
okay. That's fine. You could do the same one. What does
No,
it matter?
half
You're the
of them will be
host.
on target. No, leave me alone, Cliff. Done. Man of the match for Juve. Who's going to be the man of the match for Juve?
Locatelli.
I'm gonna go Chiesa.
Chiesa, Locatelli. I went Chiesa last match, and it hurt him, so I'm not going to say his name again.
Smart.
Actually, the smartest thing to bet on is Chiellini. If he does pocket Lukaku,
Yeah.
it's got to be a man of the match performance.
Chiellini is kind of in there.
Who's gonna go bold and say Chesney?
Chesney?
No. Could be Locatelli. Could be
I forgot.
Chiellini. Could
I
be
forgot he's playing.
Chiesa. I'm looking at this lineup. I'm looking at everything, all things considered. Oh, man, it's tough not to go with Chiesa, really. But I'll take Chiellini. I'll take Chiellini for this one. Pinsolio will be man of the match. Pinsolio is always man of the match.
Great shout.
Yeah, even before the match starts.
Guys, we got the predictions in. We went through an absolutely brilliant history of Chelsea's connection with Serie A and the Juve connection. Fantastic job by Omar there. We talked about all the buildup. We talked about the formations. We talked about the stadium and the atmosphere, and literally covered it all. This is a big match. We've got we talk about experience levels and whatnot. Max spoke about it in his press conference. Talked about just the experience levels of the clubs and whatnot. But these are the moments again when your back's against the wall, and it may feel like that regardless of Chelsea missing key guys, where you learn the most about yourself and your players, and you really start to solidify that bond as a club. And this is big for Juventus. This is a huge, huge match, regardless of who's Chelsea's playing or whatnot. We know about our struggles in the earlier matches. This is the opportunity to really, really cement that turning point. You know what I mean? And really start to turn things up a notch as we move into obviously a Derby della Mola, but then an international break. And then slowly after that, Dybala returns, Artur returns, and then of course we have to wait a little bit longer for Morata. But
Kyle
again,
Jorge.
sorry,
Kyle Jorge also needs to come
Caio
back soon.
Jorge is like a forgotten man in Juventus land. This
Yeah,
young signing that again, everybody's still saying don't expect a ton of minutes, whatever, but it all helps, right? So
but
this is
here
a big one
Morata
to
is injured. Morata is injured, and we have no strikers on the bench. A Kyle Jorge would have been lovely right now to have.
yeah, but again, nobody's really seen anything. Nobody's seen anything. Kyle.
No,
You don't know what to really
no,
expect, right?
I
A
have
body
no idea.
helps when you have injuries or whatnot, but again, we'll see what happens with Caio Jorge. I would love for him to thrive and excel and do well in his showings. But Keane was brought in too, and it was a good thing we did because yeah, obviously bad news with Alvarito there, but he'll be back too. And this is a big one. This is a big one for Juve. We got to get after it. We got to just go and impose ourselves a bit on Chelsea. This is going to tell us a lot about the mental state of Allegri's Juventus now, and if his work's truly paying off. This is going to be a tough, tough test, regardless of who's in their lineup and whatnot. I
Yeah,
always like our chances, even at the worst of times. And people that follow the show know this and they've seen it, whatnot. And I get absolutely amped up for these Champions League matches. And I expect our team to surprise many, many of us today. I can see us snatching all 3 points, and I hope we do.
yeah,
Your guys' last closing thoughts as we wrap up this match day live.
yeah. Well, the last time you were played Chelsea and won 3-0, we knew back then Juve were back in Serie A, and that game was kind of Juve are back in Europe now. We're back, beating the European champions. So this could have a similar effect. History likes to repeat itself. If we do get a win here, then it's a big statement, both in Italy and in all of Europe. Don't belittle Juve. We're still here. We still have talented players. We still have a good manager, and a win here could solidify that for non-Juve fans.
Absolutely. Cliff.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, obviously we're trying to be realistic about the match, but always having that, like Noon said, the fino alla fine mentality, Forza Juve. Although I called a draw, um, in my heart I hope we end up squeaking it out with a 3-2 victory or something like that. But I think Omar hit it right in the head. We're not gone. We're not we're not irrelevant. We're still one of the teams of legend that people speak of. And I think we can still surprise some people in the UCL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely we can. Absolutely we can make some noise. This is a big one. And I love how Allegri speaks of the challenges and just where Juventus is at right now. I've actually really, really enjoyed what he's been saying and how he's been treating all the press conferences. It's a difficult scenario, and I said that this was pretty much a job nobody wanted after Pirlo. You would have a lot of guys just turn it down based on the amount of work that needed to be done, and it looked like a broken club from the outside looking in, just as far as the mentality goes and what we're used to seeing out of Juve and where we've gone to. But the steps are there. The progress can be seen if you look at it. And this would be just another big step to the progress. Anthony coming in here saying no one mentioned the trophy now's background. We talked about this thing. Luca saying it's bad luck to bring it up. Anthony says, no, it isn't, Luca. Grow up. Listen,
I, I have no idea what
superstitions.
the trophy is.
What's that?
I have no idea what the trophy is.
Superstitions are for the weak, Luca. Don't worry about it, okay? But I'm not touching it. Okay. I didn't touch it to put it up there. I'm not going to touch it because Somebody said last year that I ruined it all, so I'm going to prove to all of you that it wasn't me, and I'm not going to touch it. I didn't place it there. Okay, got my beautiful wife to put it there because I'm not going to touch the trophy this season. So nobody can put it on old Alberto. Okay, for any of you that are superstitious, I am not, except for when it comes to my own personal games and I'm on a goal scoring streak. I don't change anything as far as routine, what I eat, how I
Really?
get geared up for the game. Okay, right side first, then left side, always if I'm on a streak. But yeah, no, it's funny. Bob saying superstitions are for the weak. Oh man, guys, I'm glad everybody's feeling a bit better. Even Omar went up 5% in terms of confidence level. I love it. But then he switched his prediction completely and went with the Juve win. So I
Like I
know
said,
it's more than 25%, brother.
I
But I love
predict
it
I will be
all.
wrong.
Everybody, thank you for joining in live. This was a lot of fun. This is a big match. Enjoy the match. All right. Make sure you guys like the video. Take the time, hit like, subscribe to the channel. Cliff's got one more Cliff note he wants to throw in there.
So me and one of our all Juve cast boys, Danny Lucci, are going to be hosting a Spaces tonight with a special guest. I'm not sure if it's okay. I'm making a shout, but shout out Alex Dono from one of the big Inter fans. He's going to be on our Spaces tonight, so make sure to tune in.
Yeah, you must have been scraping the bottom of the barrel to bring an Inter fan on, but that's okay. That's okay. No, Alex is a great guy. Alex is a great guy. I like Alex a lot. Had a lot of fun on their show too, Calcio Connection. So yeah, it's great. Make sure you check our boys out on their spaces tonight. It's gonna be good times. And yeah, everybody enjoy the match. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out Striped Hearts Apparel. They've got an awesome new drop out there, and the first wave of hoodies just took off in shipping yesterday. So make sure you show them some love as well. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow morning, post-match podcast, same time, 5:30 a.m. Pacific, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we celebrate another victory in the Champions League. Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Let's go get it, boys. Ciao.
Ciao.